Greetings, and welcome to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Poorly Written. My name's Luke. I'm a writer, director, and film editor. And in this series, we're taking a look at my first feature screenplay and trying to make it a bit better. The script, Crime at 6,200 Feet, is a neo-noir about a ski bum living in South Lake Tahoe who decides to investigate a crime. I wrote it when I was a ski bum living in South Lake Tahoe. In the last episode, I broke down my process for rewriting a script. Today, I'm going to show the results. The original scene was an incredibly boring 5 pages, and the rewrite, unlike most of them so far, is actually longer. It's 11 pages. Because it's so long, I'm going to break it apart into 3 episodes, each one covering a different sequence. We'll have nightclub, hotel room, and finally, casino floor. It's got a lot more action and a lot less exposition, so hopefully it's just a skosh more interesting. As always, you can follow along with the side-by-side PDF that I've uploaded. Link in description. All right, let's get into it. Exterior, scene 21, night. Sam walks briskly down the side of the road. His hood is on and his hands are thrust deep inside his jacket. Cut to exterior, residential street, night. Sam's hood is off and his arms swing free. The walk to Charlie's has warmed off the chill of the winter night. He approaches the door quickly but catches himself and slows down before he hits the ice. Gingerly, he crosses it and knocks on the door. Charlie opens the door. He is dressed the same as in the morning, only without the robe.
What's up, Sam?
The young drug dealer turns around and enters the living room. You probably noticed that this is missing a scene slug. When they enter Charlie's house, it should be the start of a new interior scene. All right, let's check out the revised version. Exterior, Harrah's Casino, night. The double doors of the casino slide open, and a middle-aged couple in furs and a Stetson walk out.
I tell you, sir, my luck was about to change.
Oh, you shoosh how.
Walking up, Sam sidesteps the couple, and we follow him through the doors and into the casino floor. A cacophony of flashing lights and sounds hits Sam. He reflexively squints as his eyes adjust to the bright and garish interior. Sam continues in, past the slot machines, roulette, poker, and blackjack tables until he reaches the... Honestly, there's not a big change here aside from Sam's destination. Let's get back to the original. He walks over to his easy chair and plops down. Sam looks around the room. Burritos and chips from a taqueria are on the coffee table. On the couch sits Little John and a very stoned 20-year-old, average-looking white male that Sam hasn't met. Sam sits in the only available seat, right between them. They both look at him and scoot themselves towards the edges of the couch.
Sam, me Nate, mate, Sam.
The two turn towards each other and shake hands. Now, let's check out the revised version where all the characters meet outside the nightclub. 21C, entrance to altitude. If it weren't for the people behind the velvet rope, large bouncer, and a thumping bass, the entrance to the casino's nightclub could easily be missed. Sam scans the group waiting in line. It's a mix of locals with their flat-brimmed baseball caps and goggle tans, and tourists who are actually dressed for a club. Charlie is nowhere to be seen. Sam sighs and checks his cell phone. No missed calls. He stands awkwardly, unsure if he should get in line or just linger. But before he can decide, Charlie appears. Smoking a cigarette. Hey, it's Nevada. Charlie is now wearing a lady's fur coat and a disco shirt. Trailing behind him are Lil John and a skinny white guy with a patchy beard. This is Nate, 24, and super high.
What up, Sam?
Charlie steps forward, hand extended, and gives Sam the same bro hug that Hammett got earlier.
Hey, man.
I am thirsty. Who's ready for a drink?
Let's go.
Charlie steps up to the bouncer and, not too slyly, palms a bill, then holds out his hand for a shake.
What's good?
The bouncer shakes his head and opens the velvet rope.
Another day in paradise.
Haha, you know it.
Charlie leads the gang inside altitude. Laser lights cut through a hazy and crowded dance floor as people get down to a club remix of Outkast's Hey Ya. Charlie sachets his way through the crowd and to the bar. As they follow, the crowd parts for Little John, then seems to snap back together in front of Sam. He's jostled back and forth as he tries to keep up, finally arriving at the... Again, a big part of this change is just changing the location from a living room that we'd been to 3 times to a new and vibrant location. I've also added some character details to Charlie to make him a bit more flamboyant and kind of an ass. Earlier in the script, we got a glimpse of him in private where he was shaken up after the break-in. Now we see him in public and he's full of false bravado. I think it makes for an interesting contrast in his character. Also, by making him a jerk and a blowhard, you can understand why someone, maybe even someone close to him, would want to rip him off. Let's keep going with some more of the original.
So, what exactly do you need to know?
Should we be in front of...
He glances to his sides.
They're cool.
All right.
Pulling the notebook from his jacket and a pen from his pants.
So, I've got a few questions for you.
Charlie nods for him to begin.
How many people were over here that night?
10 or 12.
Sam, writing in his book.
Okay, who?
There was Lil John and me. Mate was here. Who else?
Brendan's girl stopped by.
What's her name?
Jana, Julie, Jenny.
So that's the first bit of questioning Sam does in the original. Let's see how it plays out in the revised version. 21E, Altitude Bar. Note, throughout the club scene, everyone will be speaking loudly to be heard over the music.
Motherfucking shots, boys!
He hands them each a plastic shot glass filled with a pink liquid.
Cheers, bitches.
The guys raise their glasses, then do the shots.
Sex on the biatch.
Sam squeezes past Lil John and next to Charlie, leaning on the bar.
Red Bull and Jaeger, who wants one?
The guys nod and Charlie turns back to the bar to get the bartender's attention.
Hey, thanks for giving me in. That line is on weekends.
Oh, for sure. So, what did you want to ask me?
Yeah, so...
He gets out his notebook and tries to read, but it's too dark to see the text clearly.
I just was wondering...
What do you need?
4 Red Bull Jaeger bombs.
Those are $2 each.
Charlie hands him a $10 bill.
Keep the change, yo.
Unamused, the bartender takes the cash and starts making the drinks.
So I was saying, you had some people over for a party?
Yeah.
What were their names?
Let's see. There was Lil John and me. Mate cruised over later.
The bartender returns with the drinks. Setting them down rough on the bar, he leaves without saying anything. Charlie hands Sam his drink, then scans the crowd.
Where the did they go?
So, anyone else?
Cole, then Brant and his girl stopped by.
What's her name?
Still distracted, something catches Charlie's eye.
Yo, grab that.
Picking up a drink, he motions to the last one. Sam picks it up and follows Charlie onto the... We still get Sam asking the questions, but since we're in a nightclub and not a living room, there's a lot going on, and that helps to hide the exposition. This is a great trick for getting the exposition that your story needs into the film without making the scene stagnant. A pretty well-known and rather basic version of this was the walk and talk used by Aaron Sorkin in The West Wing. This new version also has Sam being pushed around. Both literally, he's jostled back and forth in the club, and figuratively as his questions keep getting interrupted. This reinforces one of his character flaws, namely that he has trouble standing up for himself. By seeing him get pushed around here, and later peer pressured, it sets up the opportunity for character growth. If he finally does stand up for himself, it'll show that he's grown as a person. Now, I know overall I've been pretty hard on young Luke, but there was one bit from the original I liked, so I wanted to call attention to it. Sam sits in the only available seat, right between them. They both look at him and scoot themselves towards the edges of the couch. It's a fun bit of awkward comedy that really rings true with how young dudes act. It's also a distinct action in its own action block, so... And that's a wrap on today's episode. Next time, we'll be looking at the scenes where Charlie meets the tourists and then the entire gang goes back to their hotel room to party. Until then, be good and write well.